Let me now turn the podium over to His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I'd like to say that I feel proud. I'm sitting with a statesman of our times, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, who I respect, and I admire the way he has transformed Malaysia. And especially that he came back at this young age to fight corruption. And the Malaysia which Dr. Mahathir left behind, and the one, unfortunately, because of corruption, which is a problem for, in fact, countries are poor only because of corruption, not because of lack of resources. So I really respect Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, and I'm proud to be sitting with him. Let me just first say that I was a born environmentalist because I loved the wilderness of Pakistan. We have the most unique mountain wilderness in the world because half of the world's highest peaks are in Pakistan. And so I grew up on trekking, and all our summer vacations were always spent in the Himalayas and in the mountains. And in time I saw, with a lot of pain, our forests dwindling, and our forest cover each year was reduced by a mixture of corrupt politicians who connived with the timber mafia. And, you know, when Dr. Mahathir quoted the figures of the Malaysian forest cover, I'm embarrassed to say we are left with one of the smallest percentage of forest cover in Pakistan. So when my party won an election 6 years ago in the province of Pakhtunkhwa, we decided that we would do something which no other Pakistani government had ever done. We decided to plant 1 billion trees in 5 years to counter climate change. Because Pakistan happens to be, unfortunately, in the top 10 countries most vulnerable to climate change. The water, 80% of the water in our rivers comes from our glaciers. And because of global warming, our glaciers are melting at a faster rate than we hear of glaciers, for instance, on the poles. In fact, the Swiss Prime Minister was telling me that their glaciers are also melting, but in Pakistan and India as well, Himalayas, Karakoram and these big ranges, the Hindu Kush, the glaciers are melting at a faster rate. So the only thing we can do, because Pakistan contributes hardly anything to emissions of greenhouse gases. The rich countries who are really responsible should really help countries like Pakistan and other countries which are now trying to compensate for the damage done by these greenhouse gas emissions. So this global warming affects us, and if as the glaciers keep receding, the whole, not just the Indus Basin, but the two great river systems, the Ganges Basin in India, the future for hundreds of millions of people is going to be affected. So we tried our best. In a province, we planted 1 billion trees. No one thought it would be possible. But we used a unique method, and I must commend our team, which was involved in this planting of 1 billion trees. We enlisted local communities, women who would be living in mountain areas. We paid them money to grow nurseries. And then young men also living in mountain communities, we hired them as guards to protect as the saplings grew. So it was one of the most successful campaigns acknowledged by WWF, by World Economic Forum, by Bond Challenge. We planted 1.1 billion trees in 5 years. So now, when my party won elections a year ago, we became even more ambitious, and we have given ourselves a target of 10 billion trees. So in the next 5 years, we hope to plant 10 billion trees in Pakistan to counter the effects of climate change. And we are going to use the same method of employing people in remote communities. We are going to pay women especially to grow nurseries in remote villages, and then hire young boys from the communities as guards to protect the trees, like we've done in KP province. But I do feel that those countries, rich countries who are contributing so much toward these greenhouse gas emissions, they must help countries like us, because the rate at which we are going, I'm afraid, I just feel that there's not much seriousness in this from the richer countries. Because maybe they feel that they're not affected that much, but eventually everyone will be affected. You will have refugees because of climate change. And already we see this refugee crisis and all in Europe, people trying to get into richer countries. The problems the United States has with people coming in from the south. So this is only going to grow, and that's why the world as a whole must tackle climate change. And they must deal with it with much more seriousness than we see right now. Thank you.